Recording? Oh, oops.
Don't say that.
Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum. And we are finally, after like 8 months, getting to our viewers' choice episodes. So back like right when Steve, it was like right when you came on as full-time co-host, I think.
September, October-ish, we did that.
Yeah. So for when we reached 600 subs, we were like, oh, we'll give people control. So we gave up to 4 people and essentially done it like a giveaway style. The opportunity to kind of control an episode. They could pick what the topic was, who the people on it were. And so it took a little while, but we were finally getting them scheduled. I think they'll all be out, I think by May. But the first one we're doing was our first winner, which was Norin, who is obviously not a stranger to the channel. And yeah, so Norin picked hot takes. He wanted us to get together and talk about horror hot takes, the 3 of us, and then he wanted to add Radar, which I agreed is a really good choice because Radar's super controversial.
That's all I do.
That's all he lives. That's middle name. That's Radar's middle name.
That's it. So yeah, so we're gonna just take some time, hang out, and talk about horror hot takes and see if all of us are still friends at the end.
Oh, it's like playing Mario Party.
It is. And yeah, Norin, since you were the winner and you were the one that picked the topic, we'll start with you. We'll let you go first with the first one you want to talk about.
Sweet. Thank you so much for having me on and agreeing to all that stuff and having me go first. I enjoy that. Thank you so much. So we'll start with probably the one that I think is the most controversial for me, and that when I talk about it, it gets brought up a lot. But I've noticed over time more people have warmed up to this other movie too. But I think The Exorcist, I would like to start talking about that one because I feel The Exorcist, I know for its time, it's a very influential film and it represents a certain, aesthetic, a certain time period. But I do think that film's a little bit overrated. I think The Exorcist 3, there's a film in that franchise that I find better. George C. Scott's performance in that film is hands down better than anything in all the other Exorcist movies. So that's why I love that one so much.
I detect no lies, Norin, what you just said. No lies.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, so and then also there's other films I think that have come out since then that have just done it even better, like Exorcism of Emily Rose, The Conjuring. There's just been so many more films that hit that subgenre and they nail it on the head better. And I know, like I said, The Exorcist is more of a time thing because even my mom, she remembers going with her sister to go see it, and in the theaters, like how influential it was. So it's definitely a film that represents a certain period of time.
It does. Yeah. Actually, what's funny that you say that? My most viewed video on TikTok is a horror hot take, which is that The Exorcist is not the best exorcism movie.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And I always list Emily. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is like phenomenal.
That's top tier.
So I do. Yeah. I always think to that one too. But yeah, you're right. I guess it is a time thing, and for the time frame that came out, it was like so controversial, and it was so like there's just so many things that surround it. But yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I don't really feel like it's I don't think it does it best. It may have kickstarted a whole subgenre, but I don't think, and even not really the whole subgenre, but brought it back into light, and it just Yeah.
And then also a lot to do with The Exorcist is that it's the stuff behind the scenes, the stuff that happened behind the scenes is sometimes that makes it more infamous and everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, I feel like when you get movies like Exorcism of Emily Rose, like they are subverting the genre too in a way, which adds extra layers, right? Because where the original Exorcist, still sort of is part of is like the religion savior motif, whereas we subvert that in a lot of later exorcism movies.
which I love personally.
You know,
Yeah.
which I think is what makes The Exorcist, like, while a great movie, hard for some folks. I think, 50 years later, it's just a very different kind of take. I mean, the book was
also
written
just
even like
too
later
damn
than that.
Too damn long.
Too damn long. That movie, because The Exorcist is like what, 2.5 hours?
It is a long movie, especially for when it came out. Yeah.
It's like a cardinal sin. Once you hit past 90 minutes in a horror movie, you start losing me. Once you go past 2 hours, game over. What are you doing? Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
He said it's too damn long.
Look,
God, is it really that long? I guess it.
Yeah, I think so. It's like.
No, I'm
like
sure you're
I think
right.
it's a little over 2 hours.
It's
I think
a
it's a
long
little
movie.
over 2 hours because there's a good chunk of the
No.
movie that has to do with the medical stuff when Reagan's getting
That's true.
examined and all that, which
yeah,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
I
actually
know
think is
it's
kind of
over 2 hours.
scarier.
Which makes it, I think, adds to the length.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just too
because
long for
there's
me.
not a lot of. Well, really, there's not that many possession things. It's a lot of surrounding story and the preacher stuff, or they're not called preachers. What are they called?
The priests or fathers.
Priests. Sorry,
Fathers.
the Catholic
2 hours, 2
equivalent
minutes.
of the Southern Baptist.
Huh.
No, like
It
there is a
feels like
lot
it's
of
2.5 hours.
Well, there's a
I
director's
swear
cut.
to you, I
There
did
is.
not realize that.
Too damn long, man. I feel the same way about The Shining too. Is it's like you can pick this up in a couple parts. You can.
Is that on your list?
That's not even my hot take. I'm bringing it in.
Oh.
I'm freaking it hot. He's like,
Shining's too long also.
I can't. With
it's a
it,
curveball.
No, I love The Shining. You shush.
I didn't say I don't like The Shining. It just is a little too long. Look, how many times do we have to see Jack Nicholson staring off, looking creepy and drooling?
A lot of times.
All
That's
the
like
time.
pivotal to
More.
the story.
Then they need to cut out the rest of the movie. Just 2.5 hours.
Him.
Jack.
It's just that for an hour.
Just have us read his face, just his facial expressions, the whole movie.
Oh.
I'd pay money for it. I'd do it.
All right, Radar, what's your first one on your list?
All right, coming in hot. I think haunted house movies need to go away until someone can add a super cool twist to them. Get those suckers out of here, because I am tired of every haunted house movie going like, we are a white family. We have moved into this house. Here is our 30-year mortgage. Granted, we definitely have the money to go live somewhere else, but we're living in this house. Oh, there's a demon in here.
Oh my God.
Super powerful, but this demon will take 2 hours to do anything. Why would you start if you're a demon? Why wouldn't you just take over everyone? Why would you spend 20 minutes of the movie's runtime filling out crossword puzzles and spilling over cereal? Kill everyone. Just do it. Like every freaking haunted house movie does that.
To the demons listening to this video, he is saying that by all means, kill him, not us. He's like,
knock over his cereal.
You're so big and bad.
I will.
My
rebuttal to that is Insidious subverts that really well.
I also agree. And Radar, we just talked about the Deep House, which is absolutely haunted house.
What?
Yes.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. So maybe.
I don't know.
But we do need a shake up in the genre. I do agree. Like doing it different.
We need a big shake up. Well, and the Deep House is so different because it's not like, it's not like here's 40 minutes of people unpacking and moving into the house. It's them
and
going
the 70s,
into a
80s montage music.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
The demon could attack during the montage.
I would like to see if they were going to change something with it. I would like to see motivations change, because the "we're too broke to move" is used. And while very based in reality right now, I'm just tired of seeing it. Like it'd be better for there to be like a better reason to stay in these circumstances. It just makes things more believable.
Like an emotional attachment, like it's where they originally grew up and they got the house back from their family member that passed away and wouldn't give them the house or something like that. Maybe that.
Like a lot
or they're killers. Do it that way. You're killers. You hid the bodies in the basement. You can't get rid of the house now.
That's
The
a good one
cops will
too.
figure out. Huh? Big brain. Come on.
Plus, you would make at that point you would make the house the protagonist. Like they would be the antagonist then, right?
I love that. No, that's good. We need house protagonist stories. I like that.
House protagonist.
Yeah, they could do like the weird glitch that happened to me in my Sims game where I just went into my game and all the doors had been removed. My Sims were just trapped inside. I didn't do that. The game did it, but you can't leave if you can't leave, you know?
Suckers.
All right, Steve, what's your first one that you want to talk about?
So my first one's a bit of a softball because I think the three of you will agree with me, being fans of the genre. But this is just something I hear people say, and it really grinds my gears, so to speak. Horror doesn't have to scare you to be good or a horror movie, story,
Agreed.
whatever.
Yeah.
It is the one argument that I can't help, but like I have to say something. It's the one. Anytime I see anyone put that in a review, a post, I'm like, no. Horror is an aesthetic. Addams Family, The Munsters, Norin. We're covering Courage. That's horror.
That's 100% horror.
We do, right? I mean, it's macabre, horror, it's gothic. All of these things are in that umbrella. So just because it doesn't scare you doesn't mean it's not good. That's my
totally. There's the perfect example is I'm too stupid. I cannot comprehend what gothic horror is. And someone was like, it's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that makes sense now. But see, like Scooby-Doo, no one, unless, Zombie Island. But outside of Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo is not scary, like you said. But if it's the literal, like, perfect example of gothic horror, it's horror. It's the aesthetic.
It is. And that's like the reason I like the genre so much. It's the only genre that can be all of those things. That can be romantic, that can be funny, that can be heartfelt, that can be gross, that can be weird. And it's like the only one that does it all and can do it all well in the right hands.
Absolutely. So come for me, casuals.
Comforting softball is all. Yeah, we all agree.
The glove, the gauntlet.
It was less about fighting you three because I knew you'd agree with me. I'm just fighting the world.
I would call that a form of gatekeeping. We need to try to define a genre based on your own definition. I just retweeted some stuff about that the other day because people are like, we don't need trigger warnings. It's horror. Okay, but like horror to you is not the same as horror to everybody else. So you don't get to like decide for everybody else what one word means. That's
also, we've had trigger warnings ever since the birth of the rating system. It literally is all listed under the rating.
Right.
And also like in the book sense, because that was specifically what it was in reference to, but also it takes 5 seconds and it could help readers, which I think should be a goal. Because like if Radar wrote something that was just not my cup of tea, it doesn't mean I won't ever read anything else. It just means that maybe that one story wasn't what, anyway, I won't go down the book side, but yeah, it's a form of gatekeeping and like not allowed. Like,
maybe we add that to like the general book ratings, like YA, adult, and then like where the rating is put.
Because now you just put it inside the book and the reader has to find it.
Ooh,
either
smart.
The beginning or the end. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like my easiest going one here.
No, start hard and keep going hard.
I'm not starting on my most controversial one.
If
I'm going to get canceled, I'm at least getting the rest of it out first.
Fair.
You got to listen to everything I have to say, and then you can be mad.
Then the cancel comes.
So, okay, I think I know which one I'm going to go with. This is, I feel like in the last couple years, people have kind of come around to this film a little bit more. But this is like the lightest one on my list, which is that Season of the Witch is the best Halloween movie of the franchise Halloween.
Wow. Hi, Radar.
Stop it.
Oh, I gotta
it's
go,
not
guys.
too damn long. It's only like an hour and a half.
She's got me there.
I love this movie. It is all encompassing. It is literally everything Halloween is, from aside from the witches, although maybe, who knows, right? I don't know, but
I'm sure there's got to be a couple in there somewhere.
It's about consumerism. It's about like what Halloween has turned into versus what it's supposed, like where it started from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got all these ties to like reality of Halloween and the crazy shit parents will do to go get their kid these ugly ass. They're cool. I'm just saying, in context, if they weren't in the movie, I would not think they were cool. But from the movie side, they're cool because they're from the movie. But like, I've been in that position. I've had to go to 3 Halloween stores to get this one particular fucking dinosaur costume. Like, it's so representative of what Halloween is really like, both as a kid and as a parent or an adult. And it's one of the most like Halloween feeling movies I've ever seen, second maybe only to Trick or Treat. Like, it just feels, it oozes Halloween, pun not intended. And it's the best in the franchise, in my opinion.
I can't agree with that, because Halloween, the OG one, is just perfect to me, even though I know it's not perfect, but it's perfect to me. When I watch it, I'm like, ooh, there's some dialogue in here that's a little rough.
The acting, that's probably my one negative that I have with John Carpenter's Halloween, is you can tell the actors are very beginner status, but that kind of almost helps the charm of the film.
Right, kind of adds a little bit to it, but I do have to agree that I really did come around to Halloween 3, because Halloween was the first horror series I watched in full, but I never could catch Halloween 3, and so I was really pumping it up. I'm like, all right, what is Michael Myers going to do that's crazy in this one? And I finally watched it and went, what the fuck?
He's going to be in a commercial. He's going to be on TV for 10 seconds.
10 seconds. And I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I really did not like it for a while, but then I went back and rewatched it. And I'm like, yeah, this movie's great. This movie,
it's fantastic. It was
wild concept.
It was sort of, I was eased into it because when I went to rent it from, it was either Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, one of them. Yeah, I just all like 7 or 8 of however many were out at the time. And they were like, number 3 is a weird one. He's not in it, but it's good. So at least it was.
Hold on to your hats.
So I knew what to
That's
expect.
true, because a lot of people went into it not knowing that, and then were pissed.
Yeah,
which is fair. It was an expectation. It's the 3rd movie in a franchise, like you would think. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. And I feel like if that had been done today, it would have been a heck of a lot more well received.
100% agree.
But
we would have had teasers and posts about it.
There would have been a lot of stuff. Yeah. And then the season of the witch stuff ended up being a lot of people's favorite parts of it. What's the last one called? Ends?
Halloween Ends, yeah.
Yeah, Ends, yeah.
Yeah, because it homages, even the title card sequence has the same color.
The title card sequence had my heart beating so fast. I was because again, it's my favorite in the franchise. So I just think it's the best one, because to me, I know that it's called Halloween because it happens on Halloween, but like that's kind of where it ends. Whereas like Season of the Witch is like all about Halloween and what it's about at its core, and killing little kids on Halloween.
Killing millions of little kids on Halloween.
A lot, yeah.
That final shot when he's like, so good.
Oh, when he like just screams.
He's like, yeah, so good. God, he's such a phenomenal actor. But is he still alive?
He's still alive.
Tom Atkins, yeah. Tom Atkins is still alive, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that, and then I was like, is that disrespectful? Did he pass away? I don't know. No. I don't know. I know OJ's not anymore. That's all I got.
He is gone. Yep, that is true.
My next hot take.
That's kind of. But yeah, so that's my least controversial one.
That's your least one. Okay.
Great.
I think. My big one is bad. Like I'm nervous. So I'm gonna save it for last instead of doing it right this second.
I could do a big one next. I'll start with a big one probably. Or like, I guess, yeah, it is considered a big one. I would count it because when I talk to most people, and they tell me that this is like either the scariest movie they've ever seen or it's their favorite horror movie of all time. And it's Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I personally don't even think that's his best movie. Poltergeist, I think is better than Poltergeist is better than that.
That's fair. Yeah.
And
Thunder a
yeah, and then and I also think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is better than the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Basically, because I think the remake did everything that original one did, but better. It just literally they did everything that first one did. They just brought it at like to 11. They turned it up to 11. I like the Leatherface performance better. The cast, I care about the cast more. Some of the cast members in that first movie are kind of freaking annoying. Like you just want them to die. So
I agree.
yeah. So that's probably one hot take. Just because I've talked to so many horror fans and like I don't hate on them, but like it's usually their favorite or they think it's one of the scariest movies of all time. And I'm like, it's good. It's just not up there for me, like, you know, on the pedestal.
Right.
It's annoying.
The movie's annoying.
So that was my next one was going to be that.
Oh really?
I don't have a Texas Chainsaw one, but I do
other
agree.
Texas Chainsaws, the original. Yeah. Oh, everyone's just screaming in that movie.
That is fair.
It was an obnoxious, and
like everyone just squeals. It's not even like a good horror movie squeal. They're all like,
like a pig being slaughtered, just like what it intended. It's genius.
Well, you know, this has come up before with Joe, the psychologist from Horror Fiend TV. He talks about the psychology of that film because a lot of people who haven't revisited it as an adult or who haven't seen it in a really long time, they remember seeing things that we don't actually see because the film sets it up to make you feel these things that you think you're experiencing, but you're not. And it's like, it's when you rewatch it, like I've rewatched it since then. I think I rewatched it after that other abomination came out on Netflix. And I was like, oh, wow. Like it really isn't as scary as I thought I remembered it being. Like it's pretty tame compared to what I thought I remembered it being.
I gotta give credit to that opening sequence because that's the best opening like title sequence, I think, with the
that's cool. I do like that. Yeah.
Good. I think cinematography wise, it's really smart filmmaking. I just don't think it was as mind-blowingly scary or crazy gross or anything as like a lot of people say that it is, because it's really not. It's the same thing with Saw though. People do it with Saw too. They're like, oh my God, Saw was so awful, it was torture porn. I'm like, there's literally a puddle of blood one time in the first one. Like, what are you mad about? It's not that serious. It doesn't even get gory until like the third one in the franchise.
That's true. And it's so interesting too, because Tobe Hooper tried to get Texas Chainsaw released as a PG movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he also said it was coming.
He kept calling them and like, so I have a scene where someone gets stabbed on a meat hook. Would that get me an R rating? And they were like, yeah, probably. And he's like, okay, what if they took out the blood? Would that maybe lower it? And so like he did a lot of cuts to it, and they still gave it an R rating.
Yeah, because a lot of it's implied.
It is. And a lot of it is just the setup, like the scenes, the way that the table looks at the dinner scene and how grungy and dirty everybody looks. Like it all plays into the psychology. But no, that's a good one too. I agree with that.
It's a good hot take.
Cool.
Yeah. Radar, what you got for number 2?
All right, get ready. This one maybe gets voices canceled.
Oh God.
Giallo and especially Dario Argento are overrated.
I agree with that.
What?
That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart, Radar.
Oh my God, I agree with you so much right now.
Every single year, and Angel, you know this, I watched 31 horror movies. I tend to make them ones I haven't seen. Yeah. And every year I fit an Argento one in there because I'm like, this is the year I find one I like. And I never do. They're all the same damn film. It is ridiculous. I remember it was Suspiria. It was like the biggest disappointment, one of the biggest disappointments of my life, because I spent 3 years getting this film hyped up for me when I first heard about it. And then I finally watch it and I'm like, what is this absolute garbage?
Which one?
Suspiria. Oh,
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
That's
I'll
so
say
good.
that.
Oh my god.
Norin's rethinking his decision to have you invited.
Pretty high.
But the
I
scene of
don't
that
know.
movie, that made me go like, this movie is not good, is like when, I forgot which character it is, but she's getting chased and it's just before she falls into like the big room of barbed wire. And she like locks this door with like a latch on it. And the killer's after her. And she just starts pitifully stacking suitcases on top of each other for some reason to fit through this freaking window. And at the same time, the killer's like got a little metal filing shaving and he's like trying to open the latch. And it's like, have you never held anything before in your life? And it's just back and forth. And I'm like, someone do their job. Someone exist as an adult, as a human being. Stack those suitcases, woman, or hell, just open the latch. The hole was big enough. You could fit your hand through it and just open it that way. Someone do something.
God.
And it's that whole movie.
Oh no.
The score is great though.
The score.
It's fantastic. By Goblin, yeah, it's fantastic.
Goblin's
The
great.
soundtrack is fantastic.
Goblin is the best part of any Giallo movie. It's
I don't like it. Because Giallo is like, Giallo is supposed to be the style, right? Like it's like the way that it's done. Yeah, I don't like them. They're supposed to be, I think, super artistic. So I end up bored. Is what happens.
See, I love them so much because I love slashers are my favorite subgenre in horror, and Giallo came first. So it's like the godfather to slashers. So when I watch them, it's like watching like The Parent. It's like watching all the stuff that they did first, the mistakes they made, and then when we get to slashers in the 80s, then they kind of fine-tuned all that stuff.
And don't diss my people's contribution to the genre.
Oh.
All right.
Mamma mia.
Oh my. I really like I think it's called Blood and Black Lace is really good. If you haven't seen that one, that's a good Giallo. If you want to try
that'll
it,
be one that maybe this will be the year. Radar.
This is the next
someone
one.
targeting a bunch of like Italian models, but there's a really good twist in it that most Giallos don't have.
What? And it's Black and Lace, or what is it?
Blood and Black Lace.
Blood and Black Lace.
Love.
I think I haven't seen that one, but I can picture the cover in my head.
Black.
I know
Lace?
I've seen it around.
Dang it! I keep getting pop bands called Black Lace. Blood and Black Lace. I'm dumb. Well, you know what? Oh, okay. Well, it's a pretty old one, but I'll give it a shot.
It's an oldie.
Let's see. Was it directed by Argento?
Oh,
yeah, we're good. All right.
Oh, no.
I will admit some of his movies are a little overrated. Like I think Suspiria is his best, but I mean, like I like Deep Red and I like Tenebrae and some of his other stuff. But then there's a couple other, like when you get into his more recent stuff, he starts tailing off.
Yeah.
There's like a big period where he started producing a lot of stuff, and it like has the same kind of trap balls where it's like, ooh, this is a great concept, but they're like, we don't have an ending. And that's like how
there's always a couple of shells in your potato, okay? So,
you're like, oops, how do we end this?
they can't all be winners, all right?
Oh my god.
I'm delirious.
That's my hot take.
Oh.
But did you like the remake of Suspiria though? That's a good one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's
actually really good with Dakota Johnson.
Mia Goth's in there too. Mia Goth was in there too,
that's
right?
Probably why I haven't
Mia
seen
Goth,
it.
but she's not the main focus. It's Dakota.
Yeah, she's not the main character, but she was in it.
Chloe Grace.
Moretz? I did know that. I didn't know she
Tilda
was
Swinton. It's a good cast. It's a good cast.
It seems like a pretty stacked one. Wow.
Yeah. No, it was a Prime movie, Amazon Prime.
I've heard it's very different though. I think Kat told me that. She's like, it's not really like it's kind of its own thing too.
Nah, yeah, it definitely. Oh,
that sounds exactly like something I should watch.
It's very different. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, if you didn't like the first one, you'd probably like the remake better.
I mean, it still has like
more
not Giallo, but like it's a different kind of story. It's not like
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be a long movie though, so that you may have to watch it in 2 parts.
It might be too damn long.
I think it was kind of a long movie.
All right. Steve, what's your next
Steve,
one?
you up next?
Well, you took Texas Chainsaw, so I could reiterate that. I actually the second one's my favorite.
You like the comedy, and that
It's
second
so
one is good.
goofy. It's so like it's like an 80s music video. It's silly. It's fun.
I like Stretch. Stretch is such a great character. She's fantastic, for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when she's like in the recording booth and he like just pops out right, I was like, "Woo, okay." That was a good jump scare. That's like one of the few to really get me. And I actually to stay on Texas, I actually did not mind the Netflix movie.
Ooh.
Because
I did. I'm with Steve on that one. I'm with Steve on that one.
I think
he is 75 years old. He dolphin jumped out of that puddle in the floor.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not stupid,
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's
but
so bad.
I loved that they kind of took the requel tropes and were just like, not in a way that Scream did it. They were just so irreverent in like a fun way that they were like, you thought Sally was going to come back and kick some ass.
Oh yeah, you cannot. That was totally a rip on Laura. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then just sort of like the silly stuff, like the caricatures of millennials. I'm like, I didn't take it in like these are boomers making fun of us. Like, these are people I also kind of laugh about. So
they're the young millennials. Millennials at peak are 40, just so everyone knows. Like, y'all keep talking trash about us being immature. Like, we're getting up there. Okay.
Mhm.
We're not 15 anymore. So stop it.
I mean, it was like fun. There was some fun action, and I actually liked what are they, like the themes in it too. It was very like gentrification, sort of where they were kind of going for. Like, we're gonna come in and change this place, and we know nothing about it, and we're gonna kick people out of their homes. And
it's all synonymous for old horror versus woke horror, right? Like, that's what it is. It's an entire film with an old school horror legend fighting the concept of new horror, and it's like this battle of the two things. And it was
It's the only Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie though with an actual massacre in it. You got to give it up though.
And it was shot in Canada. Which is the furthest thing from Texas that you can get.
Yeah.
But I actually like that one. Not more than 2. I'll enjoy 2 in the remake.
The
remake is so good.
Yeah, the remake's my favorite. Yeah. My turn.
Yes.
Yep. This one better be spicy, Angel.
I'm trying to think.
Bring it.
We've already dissed on the first Exorcism and
a little bit from my previous one. I do not think that the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is any good.
Like any of it?
At all?
Like any? Wow.
Like, it has so many duds that it's like, okay, so these are the ones that I think there's 2.5 exceptions. But even those, I don't just like love. Okay. So I really like Dream Warriors. I think that's my favorite in the franchise.
That's a good one.
The first one was okay. Very slow. And the second one, I conceptually was pretty good. And there's a couple of scenes like when he's out by the pool and he does the arm thing. I like all of that stuff. But I think as an entire horror franchise that has like not thrown in the towel, really, not yet. I don't like, I just don't think it's as great as everyone says it is. I feel like Freddy, it became this like kind of like Chucky, where like it started out as like one thing and then it ended up being something else. But like that one, what is the one where it's meta?
That's the New Nightmare.
Oh my
God. That was when Wes Craven came back.
Oh my God, I hated that one so bad.
I love the design of Freddy in that one. That is so
God, I hated it.
I
just don't think they're scary. Most of the time they were just weird for the sake of being weird. And then when they did have concepts that were really good, they were over cheesified to the point that they weren't executed like coolly for me. Like they felt silly.
Yeah. He did become kind of an MTV character towards the latter half.
And it's like, and it's even in things like like, you know, when I think the girl's name is her name Taryn in Dream Warriors, the girl that goes in and she has like the mohawk and the
Yeah.
Okay. Like even some of the scenes where I was like, how cool, like to be able to do that, right? But then like the one-liners and the silliness, and I'm just like, y'all know already that I'm not super into horror comedy stuff anyway. It's a very hard line for me. But I sat through every one of those fucking movies and I got like nothing out of it. And I think it is an insanely overrated franchise that I know people love, because a lot of people, especially in our groups of people in our ages, like they grew up with those movies. And it's not a knock on that, because I know people that don't think anything of Poltergeist, and Poltergeist is my everything, you know. But I just don't think these movies are like what people say they are, especially as an entire franchise. Like, ugh.
Okay.
I walked away confused.
I thought you meant there was like no redeeming qualities to it. And I was going to go, I actually have never been on Voices. I don't know who Angel is.
Gotta go into witness protection.
But I think as a franchise, when you're talking about it as a whole thing, it's not that great.
That is fair. I can agree with that, because they really are truly just all stinkers after the third one. I mean, there's kind of some redeeming qualities in like the later ones, but they're definitely stinkers. Like,
I thought the first one was so boring. Like, it took forever to get to the point, and I was just like,
the only thing I don't like about the first one is the ending. I think the ending makes no sense whatsoever. That's the only weak point of the first one.
They giallo'd that ending. I said it.
I'm gonna lobster on your ass.
But I think Freddy's Revenge is still the best. And I like the second one the best. That's my favorite.
That is a fun one.
It's the gayest one.
And Dream Warriors. What'd you say?
It's the gayest.
It's the gayest.
It's super gay. Maybe that's why it passes the test. But I just, I thought those two are good, are fine. I liked both of those, 2 and 3, but the rest of them, when I tell you, I hated New Nightmare. Like, it was, I had to finish it because I'm committed to what I do, but I was like, this may break me. Like, this
Did you watch the remake too?
Yes, you don't probably want to go down that. I actually liked the remake. And I do like Freddy versus Jason, because what the fuck?
Freddy versus Jason is awesome. That's so good. Yeah, I love Freddy versus Jason so much.
Yeah, it's almost like a monster movie, right? It's like Godzilla versus Kong, Freddy versus Jason.
Every time I watch it, it takes me back to seeing it midnight in the theater and just popcorn and packed theater. It just takes me right back.
It
was a cultural moment.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was too young, definitely, for my parents to even try to take me. But I remember going to the drive-in, and it's like there's 2 screens at our drive-in here in Wichita, and one, it was like we were watching some kids movie, and I just, like, as my parents were focused on this movie, I just turned around to the other screen that was playing Freddy versus Jason, and I just watched that without audio. And was like, this is better than whatever the hell's on that screen.
No, that one's fun. So that's my, like, I know people like that that film franchise is everything to them. I just cannot get behind it.
It's a big deal. It's in my top 5. I love it, because it's mainly because, like Angel said, like I got introduced to that at a certain time.
Yep.
Like middle school, I was freaking like it was like 11 years old, walking into the video store and just was like every Nightmare on Elm Street, boom, 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 boom. Let's go back. Oh, Mom, let's go back next weekend and go get the 5th one and the 6th one.
Yeah, and the first Freddy movie I ever saw was Freddy versus Jason in theaters. I had not seen hardly any of them until I got ready to do the franchise live, and I was like, shit, I guess I need to watch these. And I watched all of them in order, and it was like I'm straight up not having a good time. Like,
does Alexi know this?
Yes, because we talked about it. I ranked them and everything. We did, like, she was I think Rick and I think JR were the guest for that episode. This was last summer when when we first started doing franchise lives. But yeah, I just don't think it's something that's that great. And so that's kind of where I am. What about you, Norin? What you got next?
Oh, I could come in hot with one. I know. I like, since she started some controversy, we'll keep it going. We're warming up the skillet now. It's getting hotter and hotter. So one that I think, well, since we're talking about franchises, I think this franchise is overrated, and this is probably one I can see.
Dude, this
Maybe
one's gonna
Angel,
hurt
she'll
us, I
be like,
feel like.
she'll mute me. She might mute me.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt. What is it?
I think the Saw franchise is vastly overrated,
Oh!
just so much.
I
It's
gotta
for
go.
me, it's the first three. It's kind of like the same thing like Angel just said. Like I can get down with the first three, but then
Solid
right
color.
after that, and we keep going, I'm like, you're
Yeah.
losing me. You're losing me
Yeah, they
every
get
time.
I can agree with no, I can totally agree with that.
Yeah.
The Saw franchise is influential for me. Like I love that franchise so much, but solid trilogy, and then it gets a little weird. I agree.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say the third one is solid.
Shut up, wait.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's
But
Hold on.
oh.
I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say I have to give love to the sixth one though. That's probably my
Which
that-
one?
I
is
think
that?
that-
What's
Soft spot for the sixth one. A soft spot.
That's the
That's
one.
the one
with
where he
the
goes after the insurance companies. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's
is a
great.
good one.
It's a good trap.
It
I
has the
like
most
the-
ridiculous line delivery in the whole series, where Tobin Bell goes piranha for no apparent reason. It's like this super like serious scene, and he's just like staring at a fish tank and goes piranha, like he's
It is a little weird.
Sesame Street. It's
It was
so
old
weird.
and dying radar. Jeez.
Love it.
He's
No,
been
I
old and
like,
dying for 7 movies. Come on.
I like the one where he it's the not the insurance one, but it's the one with the guy that pretends to be a survivor. That's one of my
Really?
favorites because
Really?
because he goes like that part where like he's supposed to be like young, young John, and they put him in a backwards base.
Yeah, that is true. They're like,
that
"Yeah,
became a
he's
meme. Yeah, that's a huge meme. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. If you remember that time Saul thought they could de-age him, but I do like that one because he goes up to the guy and he gives him the book and he's like, "We've already met," and I was like, "You are fucked." I love those movies; they're so good. But no, I see what you're saying. The first 3 are good, and then it does get a little wonky as it goes on.
Yeah, Hoffman's stuff is wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to hate him though. Like it's like,
oh, it's so perfect to hate him.
Yeah, it is. It's so fun to hate him.
It's like a perfect representation of real life because it's like Hoffman is not smart. He's not particularly good at like anything he does.
He failed up.
It's just dumb luck and everyone else being stupider than him.
It's the perfect representation for real.
It's true.
You're not wrong.
Representing dumb people.
It's true.
It's
true. Yeah. I don't know. He's pretty smart putting that reverse bear trap in the door. I was like, this son of a bitch. He finally did something without messing up and it saves him. And he was like, are you kidding me?
Even a broke clock is right twice a day. So that was one of his 2.
Stop
That was great, right? That was great.
Oh my god, Steve, I have a dinosaur blanket I keep in here.
Oh,
it glows in the dark.
Is that your hot take? That everyone should have a dinosaur blanket? So the third
Everyone
one
should have a dinosaur blanket.
Would you be what if one of my hot takes was like Jurassic Park is the worst? No, I would never say that. I would never.
No, sure, never.
We
only
love
got to cover Chaos Theory when that comes out.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Where are we at? Radar? I think you're
Radar's next. Yep.
Let's see. Man, I put down 5. I want to make sure I get one more in, but just to be safe, I'll stick with
I'm gonna get in my most controversial one, I think, next. And then we'll kind of wrap up.
Yeah, so I think that this one is not movie based. It's more literature based on the horror side. So it's gonna get a little nerdy here, y'all. But hang with me. We need to get rid of the phrase Lovecraftian.
Yes.
Erase it.
Wow.
Erase Lovecraft from the face of horror.
Yep.
We can keep his ideas around, but get rid of the man. He was a terrible person.
He's awful.
Sure.
Awful human being. Look up the name of his cat. We can't say it here on this live stream.
He was a
We
garbage
cannot say.
being. And all of his shit is under free use. You can use any idea of his that you want. None of it's covered or protected.
And this is the worst part. A lot of people say he's the father of cosmic horror. Wrong. Like, he's not even the the stepchild of cosmic horror, because the real founder was this super badass dude called Ambrose Bierce. Super cool dude. Served in the Civil War on the Union side, and like he was the first one to write cosmic horror stories. Crazy, because the last time anyone saw him, he was going to cover the Mexican Civil War, and it disappeared with Pancho Villa. So like that's wild. Super cosmic. Yeah, it's wild. Look it up. But so he's the grandfather. He's the one who founded cosmic horror. But like Lovecraft didn't even take his stuff from him. There was another guy in between called Jonathan Chambers.
That's the guy I know of.
Yeah, who heavily like was inspired by Bierce and wrote The King in Yellow, which is like the foundation of cosmic horror.
Yep.
And then Lovecraft took from that. So it's like, we don't even need this guy.
We don't.
Toss him out. Throw him in the garbage bin. Get rid of him. So I'm saying get rid of Lovecraftian. Name it Ambrosian horror.
I like
or
it.
Biercean.
That sounds cooler anyway.
Cool.
Rebranding.
Rebranding. Let's just get rid of Lovecraft. Just
you can be Cosmic Horror's rep.
Oh yeah. Give it up to my boy Bierce. That's my hot take.
All right, Steve, what's your craziest
two Halloween ones to pick from? I'm gonna go with I'll just say I defend Halloween Ends. I really love that movie.
Wow.
It's
so really good. Love it. Ooh.
I think it got unnecessary hate. Now Blumhouse has had some big flops since then. Like I think some real flops. But I think Halloween, Ends really did something different, while paying homage to what the franchise was trying to do with 4, 5, 6, and just sort of brought it into the main timeline, and sort of tried to marry the two. I feel like it was a real love letter to the franchise as a whole. I think Corey was wonderful. I might have had a crush. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased there.
Well.
No, but I don't know. I think the opening scene is wild.
The opening scene is a strong point in the movie for sure.
Very good, yeah.
Like it's
the score is really good.
Beginning.
The score is great. Yeah.
The score is great.
I mean, like we didn't need to redo the Laurie showdown. I think we got that in 2018, and then it sort of became beyond that, which is sort of the point, right? Of it. 2018 was, everyone was obsessed about these two having a showdown. Meanwhile, Michael's just a bad person. It's just evil. He's just evil. Yeah. It really wasn't about the two of them.
Yeah.
So that's. I just really love Halloween Ends, and I will
I'll go back. I think we truly just don't learn from history. History's doomed to repeat itself because Halloween Ends is just Halloween 3. It's like the most Halloween 3-ish. It's like, let's do something different. Yep. And then everyone went, what?
Literally.
Because if you look at it from a technical standpoint, like Steve was saying, it's got great acting. The acting in it is better than Halloween 78. The score is almost just as good. We got cinematography. Like, so on a technical level, Halloween Ends is like a really great film. It's just people didn't like what David Gordon Green wanted to do. They just didn't like what he wanted to do, really.
Yeah. It's not my Michael.
Which I mean,
no, it's the shape.
One of different people.
I think I'm just kind of going into like every franchise now wanting cult. And when they don't do it, I'm just mad about it. Like that's just been the new thing. Like I was mad we didn't get like a cult of Michaels, and I was super pissed about the lack of cult ghost faces. And
we kind of got cult of Michael, kind of.
Not really.
Like it was a passing of the torch, but then Michael was like, "Nah, I'm good."
I'm good.
Changed my mind. Give that back.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got.
I kind of wanted Corey to kill him in the cave. And just take the mask. Yeah.
I thought that's what they were gonna do.
Yeah. It was just interesting because we've gotten sewer Michael before. We've gotten sort of like weak Michael before.
Sewer Michael.
Jamie Lloyd.
Hobo Michael.
No, it would have been cool if they brought Jamie Lloyd back, but
Yeah, well,
I think that's a matter of opinion.
Multiverse.
She was absolutely awful. on her, like, so I think she has a podcast, right? Danielle Harris. She
Her
has,
with
like, a podcast.
Scout Taylor.
Yeah, with Scout Taylor.
So fucking ugly and disrespectful about stuff that I can't. Yeah, I'm done with
Towards
her.
who?
Like, if they ever bring her back, they went to they didn't get some like special invite to Ends. And they went like her and that other girl that she does the show with went off the fucking deep end, bad mouthing all the people that were a part of it and just being like, I built, you did nothing. You came in the fourth movie and then they changed their mind eventually. Like, you did nothing. Stop. Like, you know, and I just felt like she was acting like super fucking entitled. You can still listen to the episode. It's still up, I think, but it's on their podcast. And it just, it crossed a lot.
Danielle's people want to talk to you.
Nice.
Yeah, so hard pass on that if it ever ends up coming back that she does anything else with it. I'm done. But yeah.
Yeah. Are we getting a show? We are getting a show.
Yeah, we're getting a Halloween TV show, which I hope they focus on Dr. Loomis. I hope we get a really good new Dr. Loomis, and we just focus on him and Michael and Dr. Loomis, you know, struggling with the fact of how am I going to save this person or am I going to have to kill this patient? You know what I mean? Like actually thinking about, am I going to have to end one of my patients because he's supposed to be there to save them?
So a different timeline going back to, how do you make it like scary and like, is it Michael in the asylum?
I was kind of hoping for an escape like road trip movie or like a road trip series, like him chasing Michael to different towns or different places, maybe even coming across other killers when they think it's Michael, but it's somebody else. You could even do stuff like that too.
Or the Shape trying to manifest in other people.
That would be good.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very Cult of Chucky.
You could open up the lore with that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I would love if they did what John Carpenter was trying to do, where it's just some different event happening on Halloween.
Yes, an anthology. Been saying that for so long.
Yeah. Make it all take place in Haddonfield and just involve the people of the town. So each like new season's like a new thing where it's like, oops, the cheerleaders are getting eaten by werewolves one season.
Werewolves.
And then it's like, oh no.
I'd be in it for werewolves.
You know,
maybe that's what Nightmare on Elm Street should have done to keep money.
They had an anthology.
No, I meant werewolves. I meant specifically.
No, she meant werewolves.
Specifically werewolves.
I was just being silly. Steve's like, no, but for real. Like,
I don't know if there's a werewolf episode. I don't know.
No, I was just being funny because he said werewolves.
But that's it. I rambled.
No,
Angel, what you got?
Bring us home. Is this the spiciest hot take I've ever heard?
I don't know. I think it is. I might have already done that one. That might have been my Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Don't sell yourself short.
Okay, so before I tell you what it is, I'm not gonna sit and talk about them. I'm gonna tell you the other ones I wrote down. This one will not surprise any of you. A24 is super overrated horror. Wolfman remake is better than the original. Prometheus is the second best Alien film.
Ooh. So how would you rank it? Would it be
Aliens,
Prometheus, Alien?
Oh, interesting.
And that's it.
And then that was all was made.
Oh no, and Alien versus Predator, dumb.
Aliens, yeah. You gotta have that one.
You gotta have that one. I'm all about the verses. And so the last one I have is that An American Werewolf in London is really more of a drama than a horror movie.
I agree. It's
kind of, yeah.
It's a slow movie.
Y'all, this has come up so many times. Like, I did a top 5 werewolf video like 2 fucking years ago. People still comment and like are so ugly to me because An American Werewolf in London is not on my top 5. Like, well, I can't take anybody. And then somebody called me a soccer mom because of my
Wow.
First of all, do you know
if
how
you're someplace soccer,
organized
that won't be wrong.
soccer moms are? Like, I wish. Okay, I wish I had my shit together like a fucking soccer mom. Anyway,
God
I digress. But so like
dang.
whenever I talk about the fact that like while there are really great things about American Werewolf in London, it's not one of the best like ever werewolf films. I think transformation wise, yes, it's probably
Oh,
got
yeah.
everything beat. But other than that, as a werewolf film, it hardly is. It's a drama.
That's fair. There's a lot of elements in it too that kind of like dilute the werewolf aspect, like the dream sequences with the Nazi zombies.
Yeah, see, because I told Angel that's why
We
no
just
one
talked
kind
about
of
this.
really knows why that happened, but it's because Jack and David are supposed to be Jewish, and it's
They're
kind
Jewish.
of soft
Oh,
core
okay.
in the way they speak. You hear them say the word like schmuck or certain things that they say that are
They're
kind of
supposed to
Jewish
be.
slang terms,
Yeah.
and that's just like was a huge nightmare for Jewish people back then. Was having that happen to them, where like somebody they would just bust in your home and just take your family members and stuff like that.
You
That's
literally
fair.
just told me that like on that live that we did, I think. Because like
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
did.
know
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I just remember like I blocked that scene out. So when I got to the Shutter show where they did like 100 scariest moments and I got to that, I was
yeah.
like, that was in what movie? What? I did not remember it. And it is wild. But and the thing is like what I'm looking for in werewolf movies is like I can say this, but I guess the original Wolfman is also a melodrama, but there was at least like consistent wolf pieces. Whereas in this one, it's very like you get these little touches, but as far as like hard, like the wolf is messing shit up, like not very much of it. And that just bums me out because it was such the perfect setup. Like that tunnel scene when that guy's like
Yeah.
running.
That is
and
really
then
good. Yeah.
so good. And then it just like ends it. And I'm like, no, where's the body parts? Like, what are you doing right now? Like,
Right.
it's a lot of build up to nothings.
Yeah.
It has one of the best bleak endings ever. I love the ending.
It is a super blanket.
It's
Also,
super
With an
bleak.
the
amazing
choice of song. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
Bum, bum,
hilarious,
bum,
right?
bum, bum.
Yeah. But I just like when I think of werewolf movies being horror, this to me is much more of a like romance drama than it is like a
Right.
horror werewolf movie.
I like the
there's-
fact that you at least see the romance element too, because some people always talk about it and they're like, they feel it is very weak, but I think it's kind of almost that Florence Nightingale effect thing, like falling in love with your patient,
Right.
thing, and like she's there to take care of him, and he's very
Yeah.
cute, and she's very cute too, and it's just like he has nowhere to go. He's an American who has literally nowhere to go because he's
Literally
stuck in this
nowhere.
another country. So I like the love element and romance element of it.
But
Yeah.
it's true. Is a lot of build up, and it doesn't really culminate in too much. The last
Yes, yeah.
scene is kind of brutal, but it's not like it doesn't live up to the build up. But I
No.
feel like a movie that is kind of a slow burn, but expertly builds up to it is Late Phases as a werewolf movie. That movie is fantastic.
I've never seen
like
that
one because you had
Ooh, you
recommended
gotta
that.
do
Remember
it.
that was one of my October 1st watches because
Oh,
you had
yeah.
said
It's so good.
I agree. That one was slow. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to tell him I watched this movie because you had talked about it so much. I was like, this is like but you're right in the sense that it did enough though, that I still felt engaged the whole time. I never it's not like if I were to, it'd be a rewatch now. So I guess not really the same thing, but if I put on an American Werewolf in London, I'm looking at my phone 89% of the movie. Like I just am.
It is.
And it's,
Late Phases and Bone Tomahawk are like the perfect movies where it's like nothing really happens, but yet you're so damn intrigued.
You're intrigued.
The House of the Devil. Angel just watched that. That's another one.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like nothing
That's a
going
great
on,
one.
but yet
That's a
you're
great
just like,
example.
ooh, the whole time. I don't know what it is. I mean, with Late Phases, it's just so entertaining to watch like this blind Vietnam vet go
I
like,
think it.
werewolves?
I was gonna say
Okay.
it's the concept too. He's like at like not a nursing home, but like an old folks like set up, and it's the concept that's got you like, this is different. I'm gonna pay attention. Like it's just
very
got
interesting.
your attention.
Definitely
That
worth
was
watching.
a good one. Norin, did you have others that you didn't get to? If you just want to rattle them off.
Sure, I'll do one more since everybody knows I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. I'm a Jason fan, so have to bring some Jason controversy a little bit because a lot of people in the Jason community think Kane Hodder's the best Jason Voorhees, and he's not. I can tell you that right now. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and I love Kane Hodder, and I appreciate the fact that he came back and did the performance more than once, but I don't think he's the best Jason Voorhees. I think Richard Broker is the best one.
Which one did Richard Broker do? I'm not as much of an
Friday
expert.
the 13th Part 3, the 3D. I love Part 3 so much. Like, it's not my favorite one, but I have a huge soft spot for Part 3 and 3D.
Yeah.
But Jason Lives is my favorite one, Part 6.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Jason in Part 3, I do like his mannerisms and stuff too.
I feel like
I think he has a
feel like
creepy
people share that.
vibe about him.
Yeah. I think people share that because I've never seen like any of it. I've seen the first one. Maybe that might be it. Oh, and Freddy versus
That
Jason.
movie. Freddy versus Jason.
but I know that name and I've heard people talk about that performance of Jason. So I think you're not alone in that regard, at least, because I think there are people that really preferred that one too. I don't really like Kane Hodder because he's a dick. Other than that, I don't have a reference for his performances because Jason isn't in the first Friday the 13th. So I don't know what his performances are.
Pamela Supremacy.
That's
That's my hot take, is I prefer Pamela.
Oh, wow.
He's a Pamela fan. Woo! There's one right there.
Ooh,
that's a good one. That was good. Starts talking to herself. Oh my God.
I love an angry mama. Come on, girl.
I'm here for it.
I love it. It's really fun.
She was so mad she killed people that had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, she was so mad. She was like, you stepped on the ground. What?
You say the word camp.
That's it. Radar, did you have any? What were your other ones? If you want to rattle them off that you didn't get to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got two. So real fast. Stop. There's no more Scream. No more Scream. Scream died when Dewey died. It's done. It's over. Dewey was the heart of Scream. Now that he's gone, it's not worth it.
I feel like you were making eye contact with me when you said that.
Angel. It's time for Scream to die.
We're about to get called out here. Like,
they're going to start a new timeline, though. Now they're going to bring him back. They're going to bring the whole cast back, and they're going to act like the next one didn't exist.
They're going to call a Halloween. They're just going to ignore all those other movies.
As long as Dewey gets in, I don't give a shit about any of the other actors. As long as Dewey is in there, because he truly is the heart of this.
He really is, especially.
Devastated.
Dewey just seems like the perfect stand-in for like what would happen to an actual person. Like you just get your shit rocked every single time you come up against a mass killer.
Never adapt.
No, never learn.
Oh, realistically, he should be dead by like the
a long ass time ago.
No.
That's neither here nor there, Steve.
I mean,
like him in the third one getting the knife thrown at him and it just bonks him in the head and he falls down the stairs. I'm like, yeah, that happened to me. I'm sure. That would 100% be me. So Dewey was definitely the heart of Scream, and I felt like it just died halfway through Scream 5, that whole series. So let's just not do those anymore, y'all. And then fifth one, kind of going back to literature again. Stop doing horror series. All right, as movies, just stop. There's so much incredible content coming out from indie horror authors.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Incredible. Nice. Stop doing series. We don't need them because there's such cool stuff. Let the indie horror authors get these deals and make these super cool movies, like these super awesome movies. You know, Cat's Desert Island Game. I don't know how the hell you'd make it into a movie, but it would be a great movie. It'd be a great concept.
There's some examples of that. So Adam Neville. Either way, he was an indie author, and he did that. They turned The Ritual into a film on Netflix.
Oh yeah, and
there's some examples, but I say that to say though, like that's a great example though of like something different being brought to the screen because it was a. I think he's got another one that they did, but I cannot remember for the life. I think
so.
Yeah. And then like Brian Osman. I think also has a movie deal. It's not out yet, but like it's just such a slow process. But I agree with you. I think it's good. Like
And
no
I know,
more Dracula shit. Like I love like the Universal monsters separate from literature. I don't care if they keep remaking them. I will watch all of them, but except Invisible Man, because I can't do the domestic violence stuff. But like the other stuff, like the Dracula stuff, like when they did Voyage to the Meter, like waste of time. Why? For what reason? You know, like that kind of stuff.
Right. Like you're doing one chapter from a book that's over 100 years old when there's just like millions of so much more deserving content waiting to get adapted. Like anything, I feel like Grady Hendrix is an author who you could adapt any of his books.
I've heard,
they just did My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Yeah, but that was his first, right? His first film?
Adaptation, movie.
Or adaptation.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, it's rife. Stephen Graham Jones, I feel like you could do any of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch.
Well, I just read a first-time author last summer, and Jimmy was Giuliano, The Dead 11, from last summer. It was good. It's a good book. Okay. But I think he got a movie deal or a TV deal or something.
See, we're on the right track, awesome. But we need to move faster.
We're getting there, Radar.
That's cool. That's why I wanted Radar on too, because I know bringing the literature stuff is a good thing too, because it's a lot of content.
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's so much.
There is. Yeah. Steve, did you have other ones that you didn't get to?
Sure. I mean, the Carrie remake is better than the original.
Whoa. Oh, Steve.
I think
that's like.
How dare you wait until the last second?
That is
shit like that. How dare you?
Because I think Julianne Moore delivers a phenomenal performance that's grounded in reality and truly scary. I think Chloe Grace Moritz is fine as a plain person. I know people are like, she's too pretty, but I'm like, that's not how bullying works. You don't have to be ugly to be bullied. So that's my point there. And I'm like, and people gave it sort of the PG-13 thing, and I was like, well,
no, I like the remake.
It's about a teenager. You don't need to see boobs and stuff in the locker room to get the point.
The teenage nudity stuff always gives me the Wiggins anyway, because like I know that they're of age, but like they're not supposed to be, and it makes me feel weird.
Yeah, like I didn't think that was necessary in there. I liked the build up. I think the teacher was handled better. Like I just like that she survived. I think she survives in the book too.
Who cares? Everybody dies. That's the way it should be.
That's what Angels
I like it.
That is true. I like a good bleak ending.
Good to her. Olin Sue.
That happened in Halloween, and it was like so emotional. He's like, "I was so good to you, Mikey." Sorry, sucks.
I know Danny Trejo got to.
Yeah,
it felt more of like I don't know. I just really like the remake.
You can like it and not be blasphemous.
For real, I think that was the hottest. I think that might have been the hottest take.
Hottest take, and he drops it as like his. That's like going to Thanksgiving.
And then he leaves.
And
Steve's
then
gonna leave.
A bomb as you're like going for dessert.
And then he just clicks out of the video.
Bye. Deal with that.
I'll get a message. Angel, you're editing this one, right?
That one. God. And not really a hot take, but just if you haven't, just watch the producer's cut of Halloween 6, because that does not get enough love. It's like such a cool gothic kind of ending. It's like really like grungy and gothic, and really sort of brings a different flavor. It's not like I mean, they changed it because they wanted something like exciting and more Hollywood, but like it's a darker ending for Loomis in a way that I think works rather than him just getting killed.
We've talked about this before.
It's just like a cooler concept, and it makes more sense with his character development.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if I don't think it's still good, but it's certainly better than the 6 we got.
The real question is, do you think the remake of Carrie is the original?
I mean,
I love you.
Ooh, it's
That's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. That's probably one of my favorites.
Really?
It's one of my favorite movies of all time too. Like I'm so. Do you know? I did a Carrie look, and my eyes I thought were going to burn out of my socket. The commitment. Doing that.
Listen, Carrie's in both movies. I got nothing to not Carrie. You know.
Yeah.
Here's the dragon.
Did you like the Rage Carrie too?
Overdrive.
The Rage, that's a fun one too.
That one was very fun. I thought.
I mean,
not
wild,
very like,
right? I mean, again, like
very,
bringing it into the modern era, with the video, and I just love the way her tattoos.
The tattoos, yeah,
that was cool. I thought that was badass. Yeah.
If it came out now, they'd be comparing it to Joker because any character that comes out now with tattoos is Jared Leto's Joker.
Or Post Malone. Everybody just calls him Post Malone.
Yeah. Like the Crow tattoos, everybody was like, and then like the same, they released a picture of Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster in the Bride movie that Maggie Gyllenhaal's doing. And he's got tattoos. And I'm like, what person, at least the females that are interested in men, who hadn't Googled Frankenstein with tattoos? Give me a break. That was my adolescence. Like,
I mean, shoot, if you're like stealing body parts too, statistics are you're gonna get
hit somebody with
yeah. That's a good point. I love it. I'm here for the tattoos. Tattoo everyone. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'm obvious.
I think over 80% of the world population now has tattoos. They calculated that or something. It's pretty heavy. Yeah. Like that most people have at least one.
Well, especially when you consider sort of like other cultures, right?
Yeah.
And like ritualistic tattoos, like really.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Radar, do you have tattoos?
I do not. I wasn't ever in the Navy, so I don't have tattoos.
I mean, either.
In the Navy.
Well, I don't know. There's not anything I think that I'm so in love with anymore that I'm like, yes, I can get this tattooed on.
To be fair, that only lasts for like the first 2, and then you'll just get whatever you want.
You just like,
I was like, I will never have a tattoo that doesn't mean something on my body. You know what a Wendigo means? Nothing. Like, I just like it. It just
badass.
It just looks cool. Like,
yeah, like there's certain ones, like these ones I got on my palms were from one of my favorite animes, Full Metal Alchemist. But I just have to keep getting them redone because they're on my palms and I work with my hands so much.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite anime of all time.
It's so good, Full Metal Alchemist. If you want an anime that'll make you cry,
emotional, yeah, so good.
Oh, fun.
I love that one. Oh my god! And then, like at the very, very end of the series, when you watch, I think it's the Brotherhood one. It like when they roll the credits, you get to see like all the pictures of their little families and shit. Oh
yeah,
it's a great anime.
It's so good. Anyway, my point is, Radar, you'll get like 2, and then you'll just get whatever you want, and you won't care anymore.
I just gotta take the plunge, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we're getting face tattoos, you know,
and then you just get whatever you want.
Maybe I'll just go big and just get like a big portrait of someone on my back or something.
Warwick Davis. You get Warwick Davis. That's what you get from Leprechaun.
Oh my gosh.
That's perfect.
I'll get his face and then below say watched all Leprechaun films for life.
Shut up.
Got him.
There's got to be a way to get it into like every fucking conversation.
I wasn't the one that brought it up.
No, this time it was Norin's fault.
Yep. I had to.
Well, this is a good idea, Norin. We don't ever talk about. I know Steve and I text a lot about our hot takes, but like we don't get to talk about them often. This is a really good idea. Yeah. It was a lot of fun having you guys.
A more casual chat about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Great idea.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being involved in Radar, having the time to come on, and Angel, Steve. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I hope you don't get our channel canceled, but you know.
It's gonna be
that might be your take.
It's gonna be me with my Carrie.
I will lose my shit if the Carrie one is the one that gets all the attention.
Sorry. You can just bleep it. Bleep out anything that indicates what I'm saying.
It's your mouth moving, but it's my voice going nonsense.
Yes.
Well, before we say goodbyes and everything, I did want to give a really quick shout to Radar's book.
Oh,
Yay.
Sweet.
It's out now. You can get it. I will put a link in the description. I told
Down
y'all
below.
ahead of time I was going to be promoting the shit out of this book. So here we are.
you certainly are.
You should get that as a tattoo, Radar.
That's what I said. He should
That
get
is
that on
true.
his back, like his
I got-
face.
My
With the
face
formed
on my
face.
back.
Yes. Yeah. Your
My
face on your
goodness.
back, but like this, the pig. Anyway, it's called A Year Spent in Horror. I'll put a link in the description. It is 365 micro fiction shorts done by word prompts. So this is what it looks like on the inside, prompt, and then the story that comes after it. Crazy stuff in here. Literally something for everybody. Highly recommend. Go get it. That's all.
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, and also all of the links for everybody will be in the description as well, where you can go to Norin's channel and check him out. He and Steve have been doing Courage the Cowardly Dog, but there's a lot of other stuff on the channel too to check out if you're there, and subscribe and like and all of those. Share. I never say that, but like if you love a YouTube video, if you find it entertaining, share it. It helps.
Yeah, definitely. That's
It
amazing.
definitely helps.
Always share.
Yeah, and Radar's stuff will be in the description for the episode as well. So yeah, I think that's all we have for this one. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this episode from Voices. We hope you have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.